Hello, and welcome to not only Book 3, Chapter 16 of You Should Be Reading, but also the base, big and small screens. Today, we're talking about The Colorado Kid by Stephen King and Haven, the television show based off of the book. Comparing, contrasting, how are they different? How are they the same? Well, they're not really the same. Not really. They're really completely different entities when you get right down to it. The book by Stephen King, The Colorado Kid, is a hard case crime, is the particular publisher putting it out. Very much hard boiled detectives, the pulpy 1930s ish crime type stories is kind of what this is. And it's very similar because it deals with you have a young woman here, pictured on the cover, Stephanie McCann, and she is um, kind of an intern at the small little newspaper in Mooselookit Island, I believe, is the name of it. And the two newspapermen who she is interning for, Vince Teague and David Bowie. Um, I don't know if it's David Bowie meant to be the singer David Bowie. I don't think so. I think he's just named after him. Perhaps. But regardless, those two newspapermen are about the only thing that's the same in the television series. Vince and Dave are in here, and they're both newspapermen, both a couple of old guys. Probably not as old as they are in here, because Vince in here is like 97, and I don't think he's quite so old in Haven. But regardless, she's here with them in this little town, and another reporter from the Boston Globe is down looking for stories for his unexplained mysteries column that runs annually. And there ends up being a bit of discussion whereby uh, they feed him a couple of stories that everybody's heard of, that even he's heard of, that this reporter, and the reporter goes away unhappy, and she's like going, that can't be all the unexplained mysteries you know. And the two guys are a little bit cagey, going, well, we know some, but they're not really fit for that paper. Thus begins the story of the Colorado Kid and how he was found murdered, or not murdered, he was found dead. Um, the official cause of death being suicide or just asphyxiation due to choking, possibly. And he was just found there, and they end up finding out he left Colorado from where he was from at like noon that day, Colorado, yet wound up on the East Coast a little before 5, a little after 5 that day, the same day, and the whole um, the whole mystery resolved around his death and why he was there in the first place. That's what this book, that's what the story is basically about. And I'll tell you right now, spoiler warning for those who haven't read it. Feel free to stop watching the video. Okay, we're good. All right. Spoiler warning. Yes, there's no conclusion to the mystery. Uh, they never explain it. And that's why it's not a fit story for this Boston Globe reporter, because they want a story that, has an easy explanation to it, or at least something that can be thought of as an explanation, even if it's not proven. With the Colorado Kid, there's nothing but questions as to how and why. And why did he have a Russian coin in his pocket? Why did he have a pack of smokes with him, with one missing? And a book of matches with only one match spent when he didn't smoke. Uh, all these weird, mysterious things going on with him. And that's why this particular story is such a great jumping off point, a great a great way to begin the television series Haven. Now, the television series Haven is based loosely based off of the book The Colorado Kid, because it takes that very basic premise that you have this small little town on the East Coast, Haven, Maine. You have this small little town with quirky little residents. You've got the two old men in there that run the reporter. And then you have Audrey Parker, FBI agent, who shows up looking for a fugitive and ends up finding that one of the residents can mysteriously control the weather when she gets angry. She has a special ability, and there's supernatural elements running all through this particular uh, sci-fi series. I believe it's a sci-fi series. Yeah, it's a sci-fi series. Running all through this. Uh, Nothing in the actual book to even remotely hint at supernatural stuff. But you have it here, and there was a young man found dead on the beach, the Colorado Kid that they call him. And there's a picture taken of a woman standing on the beach that looks a lot like Audrey Parker. And she, of course, assumes, well, that's got to be my mother. She was from here. And that's why she sticks around town to uncover this mystery. And the more she uncovers, the more strange, unusual things are happening. The more she finds out she's got a connection to this place too. And as for a television series based off of a book, you couldn't get better, because you really don't want, you either have to do two things when you are adapting a book to a television series or a movie. You either have to go whole hog, go full in, and just be completely beholden to the mythos, get as much right as possible uh, to really do it justice. Or you do what this one does. You take the very basic premise of it, the most bare bones, and then you build your own thing off of it. You still pay homage to the original material, but you're not a slave to it either. And that's kind of what Haven has done with the Colorado Kid and all the fun stuff that happens there. I particularly love this series, not only because it's based off of a work by Stephen King, but they have a very interesting sense of humor to it. Uh, you've got Emily Rose there as Audrey Parker. She is fantastic as a main character. Uh, has one of the best lines, bar none, in the very first episode when she meets the young police officer who's the son of the chief, uh, where they end up pulling guns on each other because they don't know. He doesn't know that she's FBI, and she doesn't know that he's a sheriff, or the a police officer, I should say. He becomes a sheriff later, though. Shh, don't tell anyone. But yeah, they both have guns pulled out, and she goes and reaches for her badge, and he gets like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And she's like, what am I going to do? Pull another gun? Because she's already got one aimed at him. And it's one of those really interesting, quirky shows. Very much has Stephen King's fingerprints kind of all over it. There's a lot of homage to his books. There's mention of Randall Flagg uh, in the opening credits. Uh, a mention of Shawshank Penitentiary from Shawshank Redemption, and so on and so on. Lots of little things going on in here. Definitely with more of a supernatural bent, however. But yes, it's one of those things that's really interesting, how you can see two different things that are both equally good, but definitely different in how they're played out and how the stories are done. So yes, I'm going to leave that episode here. As always, if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to give that like button a tap. Give the subscribe button a tap if you haven't already, to be kept apprised of when I do new videos. Usually something comes out once a week. I try to. And feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Have you seen Haven? Have you read The Colorado Kid? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Get a discussion going. I'd love to talk to you about it. So for now, I will leave it at that. And check out Haven. It's pretty good, well worth your time. And until next time, don't forget, you should be reading The Colorado Kid by Stephen King. And I'll see you around.